Hello, 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 everyone. It is Friday night, and we have made it to the end of the week, you guys. We have done well this week, and we're so excited. We just really put in the work, and we had amazing guests on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now last day of the week. We have an awesome guest, and we'll get right into who she is in just a moment. But we got to pay the bills. If you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and you got documents that you can't seem to get anybody to take care of, or you got some courier service that you need that document delivered and you want to make sure that person signed to say they actually got it, guess what? There's a company that will help you. You know why? Because I know the company. I'm the owner. It's called MJM One Enterprise, one family, one unit. Been doing it since 1999. We're very professional, we're punctual, and we believe in giving you the personalized service that most people take advantage of. So if you need us, definitely reach out. 404-618-9473. Now, we got to get these bills paid. Don't forget to holler at us. A liaison will call you, set up an appointment, and make sure that you are taken care of. Now, I hope that you all have been having an amazing week. This week was very important to me to facilitate because it was important that we get the word out about mental awareness, mental health, just taking care of ourselves and getting the things that we need, not being afraid. If there's help that we need, opening up our mouths and allowing someone to just do what they specialize in. And that's help us. We can't always do it all alone, and we don't have to do it alone. And that is why this platform, Sip with Kathleen, brings these type of shows to you. So tonight I am so excited. We're in episode 62 of season 4. So we're rolling right along. People sleep on Through Cat's Eyes Media, but we getting the work done. Yes. We're excited. We have an amazing guest tonight. She is amazing because she is going to bring it to the yard. I think that what she's going to share with you all tonight is going to be something that you have either never seen before or you've never heard it before. So for some of you that know her, some of you that don't, I want to introduce Dr. K. Yay!
Yay!
And she's a real doctor, ladies and gentlemen. She got the education behind it, the knowledge, and just so much more. And I want you all to get out your paper and your pen. So if you need to take notes or you need to get her information later so that you can continue to follow her on her platform so that you can continue to just help yourself to get what you need for your life. So, Dr. K, how are you doing on this Friday night? Most people at the club tonight, but guess what? We at Club Sip with Kathleen.
I am doing absolutely wonderful. And Kathleen, I want to thank
And it froze up, but that's okay, guys. We gonna get it. Shake it up, 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 shake it up. It's frozen. It's okay. Maybe I'm frozen in you too. I don't know.
yes.
Okay. Did you see it was frozen? Okay. Yep. That's how. But see, I was shaking it up till you came back. So I had.
All
I was
right.
giving
All
it to him.
right.
I was giving it to him. Okay. Go ahead. We ready.
Okay. So, what I want to talk about today is how to create change in your life and how to become that highest version of yourself.
Yes.
Yes. Now, a lot of people don't know that our brain is wired for habit. And what I'm talking about is that 95% of our brain activity
Okay.
is a habit, is a
Okay.
program, and only 5% is available for conscious thought. So what that means is, yes, what that means is that
Wow.
most of the time we're walking around on automatic pilot,
Wow.
from our
Okay.
habits, right? And our habits can be behavioral because we have behavioral habits.
Yes.
And then we also have habitual ways of thinking about things.
Okay. 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 See 95%. That's a lot. I don't know. I don't know how to process it. That's a lot. Okay,
Mhm.
so Dr. K, so what are we going to do to work on, you know, getting to our best selves? Like what are some tips that you're going to help us with tonight? I told
Okay.
y'all to get y'all pen and paper. Now this the last time this stuff is gonna be free. So you better jump in, okay? All right, let's go.
See? All right. So let me talk about how we got our habits, our
Okay.
programs in the first place.
Okay.
We got them from repetitiously doing certain things or repetitiously thinking a certain way. So repetition is the key.
Okay.
And what actually happens in our brain with that repetition is we have these things in our brain called neurons. They're nerves.
Okay.
And whenever I raise my hand or move my head, it's a bunch of neurons doing all kinds of firing, electrical chemicals, all kinds of communication for me to be able to do that, right?
Okay.
So now what actually happens is those nerves that fire together on a regular basis end up
Yes.
wiring together. And that's
Okay.
when we get our habit. So
Okay.
now our habits come from way back when we were small children.
Yes.
See, all the things that your parents taught you or your caregivers,
Yes.
all of the things that your teachers taught you, whatever it was that you were exposed to repetitiously, it programmed our brain. Even being around certain people programmed your brain. Even watching TV programs your brain. They call it programming, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I
Yep.
mean, just the smallest, I guess the smallest thing. Let me see a habit. I got this habit that, especially during COVID, I did it. I would get up but I've been getting up faithfully every morning, 4:30, faithfully. At
Mm-hmm.
my mom and dad's house, that's how they used to do. That's how they still do. They 80 something. That's what they do at their house to this day. My dad been there cooking breakfast at 5. Who's gonna eat breakfast at 5? But anyway, so I get up. So that's why I can do my motivation in the morning, because I'm up. Like I don't sleep past that time. I feel restless. I was like, I gotta get up and I gotta go in the kitchen and I sweep the kitchen floor. It ain't that much sweeping that need to be done, but I'll get in there, sweep the kitchen, and I'll go wipe the counters down. I'll just do stuff, and then I'll prepare for my day, like it's preparation. And this is a everyday thing, definitely during the COVID, but definitely. So yeah, that's a habit of mine that
Mm-hmm.
I got. I never thought that much of it.
Yep. Okay. So
Wow.
now we all have habits, right? And some of
Right.
our habits are good. They take us where we want to go in life, like what you
Right.
just described. And
Right.
some of our habits are not so good. They take us
Right.
places in life that we don't even want to go.
True. 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 True.
So
So okay. So how do we? Okay. How do we break the bad habits?
I'm glad you asked. So it's going to take some mindfulness because, first of all, you got to be aware of your habits, right? You got to pay attention
Okay.
to yourself. So,
Okay.
in order to break the bad habits, it's going to be important to identify what they are,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So, I
Okay.
would recommend getting a piece of paper and, like you do, remember the pros and the cons where you do pros on one side and right on the other
Yes.
side, you do the cons, right?
Yes.
So, I would
Yes.
recommend
Yes.
identifying your bad habits, writing those down on one side. And then across from that, I want you to write down the habit that you want to implement, your new
Okay.
replacement habit.
Okay. Okay.
And see,
Okay.
what's going to happen is that when you get triggered, because remember, the habits are automatic, right? And you got to be mindful because, of course, in order to change that habit, you got to be aware of when you're doing it. So the
Okay.
way to change it is after you've identified it, be aware. And when that habit pops up, when that bad habit rears its ugly head, then bam, you got to make yourself implement this new replacement habit that you want to do.
Okay.
And you have
So
to do
okay.
that repetitiously, right?
Okay.
And once you do it repetitiously over and over and over and over again, you're going to create a new habit. So you're going to create the new habit in the same way that you created the old one, by doing certain things over and over again, or by thinking a certain way over and over and over again. Now, a lot of people that I talk to in my
Mhm.
practice have a bad habit of engaging in stinking thinking,
Ooh,
right?
what's
Negative
thinking thinking?
thoughts, thinking, negative thoughts, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
the stinking thinking pops into their head, and most
Mhm.
of them are off. What most of the people have a thought that's negative self-talk. I'm not good enough, or what's wrong with me, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that thought pops in, what's wrong with me? And then they start focusing on it, right? So what I want you to do is when that bad habit pops in and you recognize that it's there, then you're going to instantly, consciously make yourself focus on the new replacement habit. So if this thinking is about you saying or thinking something negative about yourself, that negative self-talk, then what you need to do is to come up with a mantra, which is a short self-statement, or an affirmation, right? So if the thinking is about something is wrong with me, or what's wrong with me, or that was so stupid, or I'm dumb, or whatever, when that thought pops in, I'm so dumb, once you recognize it, then you're going to say your mantra, right? And a mantra could be something like, each and every day, I am growing more and more.
Okay.
Or each and every day, I am becoming more harmonious with myself, right? So what you want to do is, whatever you come up with, you're going to be practicing it on a regular basis. And that's how you're going to get it wired into your brain. Because when you implement the practice of whenever this pops in, you make yourself focus on this negative thinking is going to help you, because it's going to be the catalyst to you focusing on this over here.
Oh yeah.
And that's how you implement your new thought system habit, right?
Okay.
And then the behavioral habits will be the same way. Whatever your bad behaviors are, your negative behaviors, your destructive behaviors, whatever they are.
Like if you pop off, if you're a person that pop off, learn how to reprogram that.
Yep. So if you're a person that pop off, so some people can be like, wait for it, and bam, they go. Right. And then some people could be like snap, crackle, pop, and then bam, they're going. And some people could be just like tick, boom, they're gone. Right. So what they have to do is identify, maybe stop, think, and act would be a good one for that. Right. So that they're not just reacting to whatever is going on. Right. So when whatever happens that triggers that behavioral habit of doing that, they have to make themselves stop and think before they act.
Ooh, so y'all heard that? Did you, Dr. K, repeat that? Because I know somebody dropped their pen and they act like they didn't hear you. So I want you to say that again, because I think we all have that sometimes. But that's powerful. That's real powerful.
Okay. Yeah. So before reacting to a situation, tell yourself to stop and then think about what you want to do and then act.
Right.
Stop, think, and act.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna throw something out there. We're gonna throw some things out there. Real life situations. So, let's talk about when women are in relationships and they broken and they mad, they trying to figure it out, and they afraid to, they feel like they're not good enough, they feel like they can't be by themselves. How can we implement this? How can we implement this idea of what we need to do so we can just be free, I guess?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say to that belief system about not being good enough, affirmations would be good for that. Like writing down affirmations that I am good enough. I am a good person. I deserve to be happy, or whatever the case may be. And it's all kinds of affirmations on the internet. So I would recommend that people, if you can't come up with your own, go on the internet and find something that really, really, really speak to your soul. Right. And then write those affirmations down. And then you want to say them at least twice a day, because what's going to happen is those affirmations are going to become your new belief system, because the belief system that the person has now about not being good enough, guess how that belief system got there? By them focusing on that over and over and over and over again. Right. Or it could have been the catalyst for that could have been a situation where you could look at TV and commercials and see that, right? All the commercials might say, you need to have this over here, this car right here, in order to be substantial in life. You need to look that way. You need to be that way, right? So if you looking at all of those things and that's not, you don't look like that, and then you don't have the money to go out and buy that unless you're doing some retail therapy, then like your bills don't get paid, right?
Yeah, retail therapy is fun, but it will have you not right.
Yeah. So you gotta identify what it is. Like, what is it that you want to replace? Like, you got your bad habit, and then you want to replace it with a good habit. So now the thinking about yourself in a negative way, it only got there through repetitiously thinking that way about yourself. So if you focus on that affirmation repetitiously, just like you've been focusing on all that negativity about yourself, then what's going to happen is you're going to wire that affirmation into your head. And I want to say this too. I want to segue for a minute and talk about the garden of your mind, just to give people a visual.
Oh, yes, please do.
All right. So say that in our mind, we got a lot of fertile soil.
Yes.
and thoughts are seeds, right? So when a thought comes to you and you focus on it, you just planted that seed in the garden of your mind,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Now, seeds could be beautiful plants and trees, or the seed could be a weed too, right?
Yep.
Now that thinking and all the bad habits, that will be the weeds that's wired up in there, because that chokes off all the good stuff. But we got some good stuff too, right?
Oh
We
yeah.
got the good stuff, but the weeds will kind of strangle that out, So that's why you want to make sure you work on changing, right? So you got the garden of your mind, and when you focus on the thought, then it goes into the garden of your mind and just got planted. Now, every time you focus on that thought, you're giving it the water and the sunshine that it needs to grow.
Yes.
You're nurturing it, right? Even if it's something negative, you keep focusing on it after it's got in there, right? And that thought could have got in there from somebody else. Somebody could have said, like, you're so stupid when you were little, right? And then it just happened to get in there because you were focusing on it when they said it, right? So now it's in your head. So now when they're not even around, you might be focusing on how stupid you are. Dang, I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have did that, right? Okay, so now, in order to get rid of the weed, because the weeds need water and sunshine just like all the other plants, right? Absolutely. And that's our attention to it. So here's what will happen. So say you got that thinking, and it's a strong weed all up in your mind. It's thinking, right? So now that negative self-talk. So when it pops into your head, rather than focusing on it, that mantra or that affirmation that you're coming up with is going to be your new seed. And you're going to plant that in the garden of your mind, because when this thinking pops up, whatever it is that you wrote down on your paper that you're going to do, your mantra, your affirmation, you're going to consciously make yourself focus on that. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the thought seed that you're going to plant into the garden of your mind, right? And then this one over here, thinking is going to help you to grow this plant, right? Because every time it pops up, it's going to remind you to go whoop and focus on this affirmation, right? So now what's going to happen is this weed over here is not getting any of your attention. It's not getting the energy that it needs. So what happens to a plant when it doesn't have the water and the sunshine that it needs to grow? It starts to die out. Yeah. Now, how will you know when it's dying out? You'll know when it's dying out when it starts to pop into your head with the decrease in frequency. Like, boop. It'll still be there. Boop. But whenever it does, you have to make yourself focus on your affirmation still, to the point to where eventually you're not going to be giving it any attention, because you're going to constantly be over here every time it pops up, and then it's just going to die out. And how will you know when it dies out? Because it's not popping into your head anymore.
I like that. I like the way you phrased it. It definitely is easy to understand, and it just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. That's powerful. That is powerful. Man.
Now, so I want to speak to that question that you asked about the person. I think they were in a relationship or something, the scenario that you gave, and they were thinking negative things about themselves, and then they were talking about how they couldn't get away. What I would say is identify what you need to do to get away, right? You might not be able to get away tomorrow, but you sure can plan that out, right? What do you need to do? Do you need to up your skill level? You need to get a job? Like, what do you need to do? You got to start identifying the things that you need to do, so that you can eventually get out of that situation that is not bringing you joy. Get out of that situation that is draining to you. Or maybe it's a situation that's just even abusive, right? You want to get out, but you need to plan it. Now, if it's abusive and fearing for your life, you got to get out right away, right? So you don't have a plan, and there's shelters and things for that. But if it's not something that's going to be detrimental to your health, then you want to make a plan to get out. And then it's really interesting when you start writing down your plan, it starts becoming more real, right?
Write it down, make it plain.
Yeah, write it down. And then I would even say, take it a step further and make that one of your affirmations. I will be moving into my own place, and I'm going to be so happy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you keep saying that to yourself. And then eventually it's a part of the brain called the reticular activating system.
Reticular activating. That's a lot of words.
Yeah, reticular activating system, the RAS, right?
Okay.
When you write things down about what you're going to do, you just gave that bad boy a job, because it's behind the scenes in our subconscious mind looking for whatever it is and showing us things that are relevant to us, right? So now if you say, I'm going to get out of this relationship that I'm in and I'm going to be happy, then it's going to be behind the scenes in your subconscious looking for opportunities for you to be able to make that move. I'm going to tell you how that reticular activating system works. Have you ever been in the market for a car, a certain
Yes.
type of car, and all of a sudden you look around, you start seeing that car everywhere?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Or maybe it happened after you bought the car, and
Yep.
then you look around
Yes.
and you see your car everywhere.
You be like, man,
It's not
everybody got this.
it's not that you got beamed up into some other universe where all the people are driving your car.
Right.
It's that because it became relevant to you, your reticular activating system allowed you to start seeing all those other cars.
Yes.
But they've been there the whole time, but it wasn't relevant to you. And the reason why the reticular activating system, the neuroscientists believe that it's in place, is because it's so many things in our world that if we were paying attention to every single thing, if we saw every single thing, we would blow a fuse, burn out by 12 noon probably, right? And so the brain has this reticular activating system to where it only shows us things that are relevant to us. Wow. Relevant to us. I got a funny story.
We want to hear it.
Yeah, my office was downriver, and I would take my clothes to the cleaners downriver because I would be mostly at the office. I just put them in the trunk and then on the lunch break, run to the cleaners. And I really liked that cleaners, and that cleaners closed, right? So I'm like, man, I got to find me a cleaners. And so I didn't focus on it for a while.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about the cleaners. Then all of a sudden, clothes is piling up. I need a cleaners.
Right.
And then one day when I was coming out of the driveway to the apartment building I was living in, right across the street was a cleaners.
Not right across the street.
Right across the street was a cleaners. It's been there the whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time. But it wasn't relevant to me at first because I wasn't like really focusing on it. So my reticular activating system didn't allow me to really see it because it wasn't important in my life.
Now that you said this, so now I'm gonna see what I can come up on, and I'm gonna try it for a week and just write it down, because that's something. It's something different to focus your mind on, to see, wow, this is how much of things I really didn't see. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'm definitely, because I know exactly what you're talking about, especially with the car situation and finding something that you didn't even realize was right by your house. Because I got when you say I got a laundry by my house that I never knew was there. I knew what a wing spot was, but but I didn't know that was there. And I'll go way on the other side to go do my stuff too. So, but that's interesting. Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this. Okay. So let's see if we can. Okay. So if you are, because my show always features entrepreneurs, nonprofits, and creative people. So for the person that is an entrepreneur trying to figure it out, but they got those people in their ear, you not gonna do this, you shouldn't do this, why you doing this? How would you encourage and empower them to, do that thing?
I would tell them that they're gonna have to limit the conversations that they have with those people, because if they're not going to be your cheerleaders, your support system, then there's no need in telling them about your dream, because you could be all excited about your idea. I got an idea, I'm getting ready to do this, and you rah sis come by, and then you go tell them, and then by the time they finish telling you how it's not going to work, you end up leaving with your head down like, well, dang, it seems like a good idea, right? So you don't want to tell those people about your dreams. And it could be some well-meaning people. It could be family members. It could be your parents, people that you love. But if their mindset is like in the thinking mode, then you can't tell them about your dreams. And when they start talking to you negatively, I would say about anything, right? You can let them know, hey, you know what? I am really working on.
Write down. Oh my gosh. So true, Dr. K. So true. Yeah.
And I want to say, right, it might not even be a goal that you have, but just having people around you who are negative, right?
Yeah.
You can't control them, but you can control you. So you can limit how much interaction you have with them. And you can let them know, hey, I love you. And right now I'm having to work on Project Me. And I'm working on being more healthy, doing a cleansing. So when you start going to the left with the negativity, I can't support that. I can't be a party to that. And then if they start doing it, you can remind them. And then if they keep doing it, I love you, gotta go, bye. Talk to you.
Yep.
In love, with love. Talk to you later.
Yep. And then be able to deal with when they say, well, she acting up, he acting up. I just got a roll right now. Yeah, and it's
You gotta
okay.
roll right now. And everybody is not gonna like what you do.
Right.
It doesn't matter how well you do it. Look at Jesus. He's supposed to be the only perfect man to
Woo!
walk the planet. Look what they did to him.
Hold on. Uh-oh. Let me tell you something. You done made me knock the whole camera down off of the look. I knocked the whole camera down
You
off
got your
of the
dance on that one. Like,
I was
woo!
getting look at Jesus. Yes, yeah, that was crazy, but that just lets you know how deep it was for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can't go on if people getting mad at us because
Yes.
of whatever. I can remember this one when I was working at this one mental health facility. And I had found out that the women there, some of the women were talking negatively about me. And
Woo!
it was so funny to me because the things that they were saying, because I'm a fashion designer, I like to dress up. My mother used to dress us up when I was a kid. So my brain got wired to like these pretty things. And so I like dressing up, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm just dressing up and I'm dressing up for me. And my
Right.
mother sent me to charm school when I was a kid. So it taught me how to walk a certain way. And
Yes.
I used to model. Right. I was
Yes.
modeling my own designs and modeling sometimes other people's designs. So I just got a certain way that I carry myself. And they were saying, who does she think she is coming in here, like walking like she on a runway?
Right. But I'm doing a great job of it. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And I was all about just peace and love, just being me.
Yep.
So sometimes people not gonna like you just because you show up. But you know what? That
Yep.
says more about them than it does about you. So it's not, don't even take it personal.
Say it. Let me see. Wait a minute. Somebody sent you a comment. Let me see what it says. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Can you see that?
Yes.
It says, anyone read these comments, just know that it is vital to rewatch again and again. Again and again, so your brain can really receive it right about. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm struggling, y'all. But it's a long comment. But Leanne sent that to you. You got a lot of comments on here. I think the comments should start coming through now. They loving on you. They loving on you.
Good.
Superstar.
All right. So you can throw out some more of those scenarios and then I can, provide some information about how people can rewire the brain because we're going to operate from habits anyway. So why not make those habits your own habits? Okay. You being programmed all the time. If you're watching social media, you being programmed because you're being repetitiously exposed, right? And check this out. Billboards, they program us, right? Even though we're driving our vehicles and then you just go by it real quick. If you go on that route repetitiously over and over and over again, whatever's on that billboard is going to keep going into your mind. And it could be a time when you're trying to eat healthy on a diet, no fast food. And at one time you hungry. And then you think about McDonald's or whatever it is that you're thinking about.
Chick-fil-A, they had a good signs. Like, a new barbecue spot down the street, and they got good macaroni and cheese. Yeah.
And it tastes good. And see, the companies who make those signs, they know all about the brain and how it's wired. They know what colors will make us salivate. They know what pictures to put up there to make us move in the direction of whatever that is. So these billboards are programming us to fulfill somebody else's dream, right?
Yeah, that is
so
very
I
true.
say, check this out. Do your own billboard to program your brain to fulfill your own dream. I've been doing my own billboards for 30 years and I have rewired my brain and recreated my life. And these billboards they call them vision boards now. But back in the day, we called them image pages. Where you go through magazines and you cut out pictures and words and images that reflect what you want, the direction that you want to go in. And then you arrange them on there, and I would recommend doing one vision board per area of your life. For example, one for career or one for relationship or one for loving on yourself or one for your finances or whatever. And put the stuff on there that reflects where you want to go. Now, some people kind of miss that boat and put some things on there that shouldn't be on there. So I want to make it really clear. Everything that you put on there should be where you want to go, what you're moving towards. For example, a person who wants to lose weight because maybe their weight is unhealthy for them and they don't like the way they look. You do not put on your image page or your vision board, lose the fat, because you don't want the word fat swimming anywhere around in your consciousness.
I like that.
So you have to put slim, looking good, healthy, and things like that, because that's
Right.
what you're moving toward. Because once you have your vision board, then you're going to put it up somewhere in your house where you
Yes.
can see it over and over and over again. And at first, you're
Yes.
probably going to be looking at it, right? Looking, but then
Yes.
after a while, you're going to walk right by it. But just like
Yep.
that billboard on the freeway or wherever you're going, you're not driving and looking at that or stopping your car and looking at it
True.
when it's still getting to you. So the
Right.
vision boards or the image pages is another way to condition your brain. Now I got to give this real quick tidbit. It's about my daughter. So I like completion, right? So I will take the time and do my vision boards, and it takes a while because
Oh,
you
yes,
need a
absolutely.
time and a space where you're going to be uninterrupted, right? Because
Yes.
you got to get in touch with your soul on this, because this is really deep and this is meaningful
Okay.
because you are programming your brain, right?
Right.
So you want to be in tune with your inner guidance system. So me
Right.
and my daughter, we were doing our vision boards, right? Sitting on the floor together, cutting out stuff. She knew what I was working on. I knew what she was working on. So if I saw a
Yes.
picture that I thought she wanted, I'm like, oh, you want this? Or here's this word. Or if we're looking for the word the at a certain
Yes.
size, and it's like, here's a the in this magazine, right? So we
Right.
cut out
Right.
all of this stuff. And then
Right.
I started my process of arranging it on my page the way I wanted it to go. And then I'm very detail oriented. So I got my glue and lifted it up, because once you get it all situated, you got to like lift it up carefully to make sure it stays right where
Right.
you put it, right?
And it could look good and everything the way you want it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took my time and finished mine that day. And my daughter, she didn't feel like finishing hers, so she put hers on like the peninsula in the kitchen, right? And she had it all laid out right up there, all the words on her
Right.
page and all the pictures on her page. But now it was in a heavy traffic area. So every time we walked by there, just a little wind will cause the things to move out of place. But then we'd take the time and put it back on there, right?
Right.
And it just kept happening. Sometimes they'll fall on the floor. We pick it up and put it back on there. Guess what my daughter did? It is brilliant. My child took a picture with her cell phone of her vision board, and she printed it out.
Yeah. Yeah. She was like, hey, that's the easier way to do it.
Yeah, she put all them pictures and took that paper and tossed it somewhere. So now I started doing mine like that, because what it can do for you is you don't have to keep finding the same words and images all over again, because you glued it on that one. But now if you take a picture of it, right, you could take a picture of various versions of the same page.
I agree with you. And I was going to ask you about that, because I have I do vision board parties and stuff too, and I have a vision board thing on my phone. So I actually took pictures of certain things that I wanted, and I put it on my phone, and my screensaver. That's what it is, because I need to be able to remind myself, Kat, this is what you need to be doing. This is what the goal. This is what your goal is. So kind of like do what you got to do to get to it, because I don't want to fall off, and not saying that I won't. But I can. Yeah. So but I like that
boards,
idea.
They are powerful. The pictures and the colors and stuff work on the right side of your brain, and your words work on the left side of the brain.
Wait. Say that again.
The pictures and the colors on your vision board works on the right side of your brain. And then the words work on the left side of your brain. So you got your whole brain engaged in helping you out with the manifestation of whatever it is that you have created or that you want to create.
Yeah, I wrote this down on my I don't even have a pen right now, but I was like, wait.
Yep. So those vision boards are very, very powerful. Like I said, I have created my life with that. I can tell you about I remember when I wanted to travel all over the world, right? And I was on welfare at this time, because I went from welfare to being a doctor.
You better say
it. My friends that was on welfare, they was like, how you gonna travel all over the world? Like, I don't know, but I want to do it, right? And I had found out about vision boards. And they was like, you can't do that. I'm like, yes, I can, right? Because the people over there said they work. So if it worked for them, then it could work for me. Yeah. What do I have to lose, right? So then not only did I do my vision board with my travel page, right? But I also did the affirmation about traveling all over the world. And it took some years before that manifested, but when it popped, it popped. I've traveled all over the world. I've studied in other countries. I studied in London and Paris. I've studied in Africa. I've traveled to China 3 times on a shopping spree, took my daughter with me. I've traveled to Italy and Greece. I've been to the Bahamas. I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to Jamaica over and over and over again. I've been to Mexico. I have traveled all over the world, and I didn't even know how I was going to do it. So I would say that when we want certain things, then you write it down and you visualize about it, put it on your vision board, right? Because it's not your business how the universe is going to work that out for you to get it. It's your business to just focus on it. So I would close my eyes and just see myself in these other places and then just smile. And then it happened. It worked.
I believe that.
It's true. It worked. It took a while, but I stayed with it.
But you like you say, you got to put it there. You got to, and don't worry about. It's almost like making an investment. You know how you put your stuff up. You're like, okay, we gonna just see what this does. Like it's almost like a stock. You just wait for it to do what it do. You don't sit and necessarily watch it, but it will work itself out like it's supposed to. I believe that. Yes. I believe that.
Yeah, and I would recommend that when you're doing this kind of work with rewiring your brain, if you can have a support system, somebody who wants to work on themselves too, because that's what I had. Yes. My best friend got us. We both started out visualizing some things, and now we just keep manifesting all the things that we visualize. You know, we focus on it and then it shows up. We focus on it and it shows up, right? And so it's good to have somebody who can see you in spaces where when you're feeling down, you can't see yourself in, or somebody who can be your wind beneath your wings when you don't even feel like you can fly. So that support system is so important. I can remember with the affirmations, you know, we would go out to Belle Isle, it's a park here in Detroit, and get us covered and close our eyes because we both like the water. So say if I had my eyes closed and Goddess would have my affirmations, and then she would say in a soft voice, whatever they were, saying, you are doing this, or you are doing this, and you will do this, and whatever my affirmations were. And then I was seeing it in my mind's eye, just hearing her say it to me, right? And then I've also recorded my affirmations. I would get some soft music and have it in the background. Yeah. And then I would record myself saying my affirmations slowly in a soft voice. And I used to listen to it 2-3 times a day. If I was washing the dishes, if I was cooking dinner, whatever I was doing, I was listening to my affirmations because I was reprogramming my brain. I was rewiring my brain to have those belief systems that I wanted to have. I wanted to have the belief systems that were going to take me where I wanted to go in life. Because I must mention, let me start here. When I was a little kid, my mother, although she bought us everything that she could possibly buy us, she wasn't emotionally nurturing. She would be abusive. Gotcha. She used to tell me 5 of the 7 days out of the week that I was dumb and stupid with no common sense, and I was never going to amount to
wow.
Yes. She used to tell me that.
Did y'all hear that? Share that, Dr. K, please.
On a regular basis, she would tell me that. So I had to rewire my brain to the point of believing that I am valuable just because I exist. Then I got a whole history of sexual abuse from the ages of 5 all the way into my adult years. So I had to rewire my brain to know that I'm not the one with the issue. They are the ones with the issues. Because so many times when people are, I want to say, survivors of sexual abuse or whatever kind of abuse, they think something is wrong with me. Right. I'm damaged goods or whatever. No, the other person who did it, they the one with the problem.
True. Wow, that's amazing.
Physical abuse in a former marriage, previous marriage. It was bad. So I had
Still standing, Dr. K. Still standing.
I had to rewire my brain.
Let me ask you this. What was the day that you knew that you had to become the woman that you are as far as the type of career that you had? Was it during, like, after the marriage, during the marriage, or when was that day that you was like, okay, I got to go and do this and be able to help others? Because what was that day?
Okay. So that day was after one of the beatings.
Gotcha.
Right. Gotcha. Now, I had already had a beating where I tried to get rid of myself with some pills. because when I was nursing my black eye and my fat lip, then he came and held the gun to me. Right. So then after that, I'm thinking it was over. And this is back in the day when the police would come, and then if you had a different story, they'd be like, okay, well, y'all got different stories. We don't know what happened. Right. And then the time that was the defining moment was another time when I was getting ready to do it, getting ready to jump into the river after a beating. Right. And then I reached out to one of my friends, and she was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Don't do it. Because I got jumped on. I was 8 months pregnant.
When I was getting ready to ask you, what did you have a kid? So you was pregnant at the time, and you was like, I'm out.
Yep. And I felt hopeless, helpless, devastated, like nobody was going to help me, because the threat was that if you leave, I'm going to kill you and all that other kind of stuff, you know. So then when I didn't do it, because I talked to my friend and she talked me off that ledge, then I said, if I'm going to live, then I'm going to really live.
Yes.
I'm going to really live. So then I knew I had to get out of that marriage. I had to get out of that house. So if I'm going to live, I'm going to really live.
Yes.
And I had always known that I wanted to be a psychologist, like ever since the 10th grade, when I had my first psychology class, right? And I found out that it was the study of human behavior. And I said, that's what I want to be. And I was a little kid, and it was there. It was evident when I was a little kid, because I used to ask my mother, why this, why that, why? I always wanted to understand things that people did and understand why she was saying what she was saying. But you know, the old school mamas, because I said so.
Yeah, because I said so. I said what I said.
Right. But I always wanted to understand people, understand human behavior. So when I found out about that psychology class, when I had that psychology class and found out that that's what psychology was, the study of human behavior, I said, I'm going to be a doctor of psychology. And so I took some U-turns and some downhill turns and went this way and that way, because I didn't come out of high school and go into college. I was pregnant, and had a son when I graduated. And so got into the relationship, ended up getting married, went through everything that I went through. We had some good times, you know, but then we had the bad times too. And so eventually I had to really level up and go back to school. Now, let me tell you how I ended up doing that.
Yeah, we want
when I moved out on my own and got away from him, then I was on welfare.
Gotcha.
And my welfare caseworker, she told me, she said, baby, all they gonna do is give you a hamburger when you deserve a steak. You need to go to school and get your education.
She gave you what you needed to hear.
Yep. She told me to go to a private school. So it was real expensive though. But what she told me was, they're gonna know your name. You're not gonna get lost in
speaking life over you. Speaking life over you, Dr. K. Speaking life over you. You wasn't just another one of her clients. Wow. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So she told me, she said, go to that school, and she walked me through it. Go to the academic advisor, go to the financial advisor. These people are going to help you. And that's how I ended up in college. And then when I started school, I waited until my youngest son was in school all day. Back then it was first grade, but now in kindergarten, they get to go all day.
Yes.
So when he went all day, because I got 3 children, when he went all day, then that's when I went to school. And I went to school full time for 10 years. Right. And I got 4 college degrees. I got a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a specialist degree, and a doctoral degree. I was graduating so much that sometimes I was graduating with my kids.
That's okay. That's all right. You set a plan and you did that. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to be really just listening, because a lot of us were trying to figure it out. And she's showing you that she made it through all of that mess.
All of that.
Hello, keep it moving. I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. So
and I had to rewire my brain, because you know what kind of trauma comes along with being abused.
Yes.
And so I had to rewire my brain. Here's something. Let me share this story.
Please do.
My relationship with God was really, really important, because that's how I ended up where I am today.
Say it.
Because I could lean on God when I couldn't lean on myself. Now, I want to say my mother taught me how to make my dollar holler. She taught me how to survive. She said, be independent, take care of yourself. She taught me all of that. So I was like doing really good with it until I wasn't. Right.
Right. Right.
So now here's what happened. When I had
Right.
got away from my ex-husband and I was living in this little house with my 3 kids, right? When I finally got away,
Yes.
he had threatened to drive by the house and shoot it up because he said he knew where we lived. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah. Dude. Okay.
What? So I sat on the floor and played with the kids. They didn't know what was going on, of course. So I tried to just make life happy and fun.
Right.
But I was talking to my friend who talked me off the ledge, and she was really into God. And she was like, hey, you got to have faith. You know, that God is going to like be there for you. And I was like, okay, what you mean faith? She was like, know that God is going to, take care of you and all that. I was like, So she said, okay, let me tell you some stories. So Renee told me one story after another. Her faith stories about she was in a pickle with whatever the situation was, and she prayed about it, and bam, it happened. And it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning at this time, and she had to go to work early in the morning. She said, I've told you all the things that I could think of. And then I was like, I hear you, Renee, but I just don't have faith. I hear your stories, and thank you so much for sharing. I just don't have faith. Right. She said, pray to God and ask God for some faith. Yeah. So that's what I did after I got off the phone. And she told me I didn't have to pray in any special way.
Just talk.
I ain't have to do no Hail Marys. I ain't have to be on my knees.
Right.
She said, talk to God the way you talk to me. Because I was like, well, how am I supposed to pray? Because I want to do this thing right, Yeah, because
I don't want to mess it up. No, you just open up your mouth and
just come from your heart and just talk, right? So then when I got off the phone, I'm like, all right, God, it's me. Renee told me to talk to you. I need to know what faith is. Because I don't know. She tried to help me, and I really want to know. Yeah. And so after I said that prayer, it was some different things that started happening in my life. Like I needed some clothes for my oldest son because school was starting. Yes. And I didn't have any money for the new school clothes. Yeah. And then some Montgomery Wards, $25 showed up in the mail. Ward. And I didn't even have to buy anything. You know how sometimes you will get a certificate where spend $10 and get $5. Nope. I got like 3 of those different certificates for $25. So I got my son some school clothes. And then it's like I needed school supplies. And then something showed up in the mail. I forgot what the I don't think it was Cunningham's. It wasn't Rite Aid, but it was one of the ones from back in the day. Right. But it said you can get, the coupon said 10 little spiral notebooks for $1, 10 packs of paper for $1, 10 packs of pencils for $1. I'm like, yes, right. And so I'm praying for these things. God help me this. My son need this. I need that. And then things just start showing up so often that it started getting kind of spooky. Scary. Like, wait a minute. But at first I thought it was a coincidence. And then it kept happening. You still didn't believe what the faith was. You still was like, yeah, okay. No. Yeah. And then after a while, I got it like, oh, okay. So that's what it is for me anyway. That when I pray and ask God for, it could be direction, guidance, understanding, insight, whatever the case may be. It's just a trust that I know he's going to provide. That's right. In his time. That's right. That's right. That's what I learned as a result of going through that. So it took that bad situation that I was in. Yeah. Because he wanted to get you back to where you needed to be anyway, so that he could lead and not you. See? Yeah. And we don't always get that. We be study just, I'm going to drive. Hitting the bumps, tearing up the wheels, tearing up the rims. I'm going to drive. Got a ticket, speeding ticket, because you don't want to listen. And I always say this, and he just like, sit back and wait. You ain't sick and tired yet. So I'm going to let you do it your way. I'm going to let you do it your way. When you get tired, holla at your boy. See? Yep. And let me tell another profound thing. God does so much for me, but I want to share this other story because this is really, really important, right? So after all the abuse that I went through in my marriage, and then I got away from that, I'm on my conscious spiritual journey now,
Yes.
going for my healing,
Yes.
reading books and getting into prayer and meditation and all of that, right?
Yes.
And then, I was talking to God, like, I just want to experience inner peace. I need
Woo!
inner peace, and I just want to be happy, right? So then it came a time on my journey to where God told me that, looking at my husband at the time, wasn't ex-husband yet, from the perspective that I was looking at him from,
right,
wasn't on the path to peace. I was at that fork in the road, right?
Right.
Because now you might think that because of all the things he did to me, that I would be justified in thinking like he shouldn't have did that, and he was horrible. He shouldn't have treated me that way. I didn't deserve that, right? But what God let me know is, on the path of peace, focusing on those kind of thoughts is not there.
Right.
And so God let me know, like, it's up to you, my child, what you want to do, right? But focusing on him from that perspective is not on that path to peace. So what do you want to do? So what was given to me was to look at him with compassion and know that he came onto the planet as a baby, just like I did, an innocent baby. Right. His brain got wired because of his surroundings, just like my brain got wired from my surroundings. Right. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. He made some bad choices. I made some bad choices. It's just part of the human condition that sometimes we go to the left.
Yes, true.
And once I learned to look at him from that perspective, that he's God's child just like me.
Right.
Then when I let go of that anger and that resentment, it was like, it was forgiveness really that occurred for me. And forgiveness is not something that you do. It's what happens when you understand.
You better say that. Where y'all pens at? Hello? Did you write that down? I told y'all I had to write on the box because I didn't have. Say that again, Dr. K. I want to write that down.
Forgiveness is not something that you do. It's what happens when you understand. Because see, once you understand, once you have that aha moment, then all that other negative stuff, it just kind of fades away. Because now you got deeper understanding, overstanding of the situation.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. That's powerful.
Yep. So I would say with anybody who's ever done anything to you in your past.
Yeah.
That's a way to let it go, to realize that, we got our fleshly side, our ego self, and our spirit nature. Because to me, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Right. And it's important for us to consciously choose which one we want to roll with.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So now, whoever did whatever it is that they did, that was in the past. Right. Absolutely. And if you want healing, then it's going to be important for you to give forth of all that anger and resentment that you have towards them. And if you can't do it on your own, like, do what I did. I prayed and asked God to show me how. And when God showed me stuff, it wasn't easy all the time. Like, what you mean? Like, forgive him? Like, what you mean? He deserved love and stuff. No, you know what he did?
Like, you talking to me? You talking to me? Are you talking to the other person? You talking to me? Yeah.
See? So it's not always easy, but hey, if you want to heal, then you got to do what's necessary for your healing process. You got to invest that time and energy into yourself. You got to make that commitment to yourself. And all of that will help you to step into the highest version of yourself, because that's where we started out in the beginning of this thing. So it doesn't matter what you've gone through in life. You are a survivor. And I didn't even get to the part about how we create these things in our life, because when we got thoughts in our head that we focused on, certain belief systems, then those lead to behaviors. So then we end up making choices, not knowing that we're making the choices, having ourselves in situations.
Right.
Just like when I was in the abusive marriage, right? And it was abusive before we even got married. I got beat up on the day before the wedding.
What?
Yes, I did. I was too embarrassed to call it off.
He got mad. He just wanted to start something before you. So you was crying and broken, wearing your dress, getting ready to go down the aisle or something. Like,
I learned how to wear a mask and
Gotcha.
have a facade, because as a little kid, my mother was telling me I was dumb and stupid with no common sense and never moved them out to
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
so for whatever reason, I learned how to just
Kind of
find
like
some
this.
happiness
Right.
somewhere and
Right.
not be totally immersed in that. And then if she was mean to me on my way to school, I didn't want my friends to see me crying. So I learned how to.
And even though you was all, it was all a lot going on inside, they never saw that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to say, if anybody has ever done anything to you, it's important. It's for self, right? Who, I don't know whose quote it is, because I heard it was Bruce Lee's quote, and I heard it was somebody else's quote, but it
But if
goes something
somebody
like
quote,
it goes something like holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
that's powerful. I've never heard that, but I can truly believe like that's something that's resonating. Man, I'm gonna look that up when we get off the broadcast because I'm gonna put that on my phone. Whoever wrote it, I'm gonna put that on my in my notes because I always have stuff that I need to look at on my notes on my phone. It kind of helps me to
Mm-hmm.
stay focused on stuff. But man,
Yeah.
are y'all cups full? Are y'all cups full? Man, so okay, so it's Friday night, so we're not gonna keep everybody all night. But before we get ready to close out the broadcast, you have such amazing things that's about to come up, that's coming out. You got a book getting ready to come out. You got your YouTube. So just let everybody know if they want to stay in contact with you. How can they follow you to everything is available so that they can purchase your book, so they can start following you, and so they can start supporting your movement? Because Dr. K, everything you told us is so great tonight. It's filling us up and preparing us for next week and for life. Because some of us just did not know these things. And for you to share your life. Because a lot of people, they're not gonna share their stuff. They're gonna eat your food. But they're not gonna but they're not gonna share, you know what I'm saying? So we appreciate that you were transparent enough to share that because I know somebody on this broadcast is going through this now. I know somebody on this broadcast is going to share this to somebody that may be going through it. And we need to hear these things so that we can be better, we can be good, and to, like you say, reprogram our minds. And we want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to get that book so we can get the help that we need. We need that. So what do the people got to do to make sure that they can stay in tune with Dr. K?
So this spring is going to be big for me.
Yes.
I'm going
Art.
to be launching the YouTube channel this
Yes.
spring, and it'll be Dr. K something or another. So look for
That's
Dr.
okay,
K.
but Dr. K is attached. Yes.
And I'm also launching the book, and the name of my book is called I Rewired My Brain, My Journey to Freedom. And what's great about the book is that it has a workbook that comes with it. So now
Yes.
in the book, I write about my story, the things that I went through and how my brain got wired a certain way. That's in part 1. And then in part 2, I'm breaking down how our brains get wired and
Yes.
giving tools and strategies for how you can rewire your brain so that you can implant those habits and programs in there that's going to take you where you want to go in life. And now with the workbook is good because the workbook corresponds with the second part of the book, where whatever the chapter is, the chapter in the workbook is for you to go into your own life and start, like I mentioned earlier, writing down, identifying what your habits are, right? Write your bad habits on this side, or write your replacement habits on this side. So I got that in the workbook. I've got the visualization in the workbook, teaching people about that, the meditation. It's like the workbook is packed with tools and strategies to help people to be able to rewire their brain.
Okay. Okay. As a matter of fact, on Tuesday we had Leanne, and she wants to make sure that everybody know that because of you, you helped rewire her brain, and she shared her story. So if you all missed that interview, make sure you go watch that so that it makes sense as you're watching this, as a resource tool and definitely a practitioner that is going to assist you with that movement. So yeah,
Yeah.
so definitely Leanne shared her story. She wanted to make sure she told you, she
Ah,
loves you.
that's
She
so
thanks you for
wonderful. I
all that
love
you
her.
do.
That's my
And
sister. And
yes,
she
yes.
rewired her own brain. I can't wire anybody's brain. They got to do the work. I could
Did you
provide
hear
the
that, love
information, the
all?
tools, and the strategies, but people have to invest their time and their energy and sometimes your dollars into yourself so that you can level up and take your
Yes,
life where you want it to go so that you can step into that highest version of
yes,
yourself, that highest vision of yourself.
yes, 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 yes. So again, so do you have a page or something that they can reach you until then, or
Not
do you
right
set up any?
now.
Okay. Well, everybody, what I will do is, as soon as she has everything up, I definitely will reshare this video going into the time that she's getting ready to relaunch relaunch all of her spring madness to be able to celebrate and to help our lives. I'll make sure that and when I do that, I'll make sure that I have her information on there attached in the bio so that you can reach out, because we are a show of supporting each other. We are a show of just making sure that we're all good. We share.
Wonderful.
We share. So again, like I said, it's Friday night. I know some of you are trying to get to y'all little 11 o'clock, whatever y'all got going on. Or whatever. And plus, Dr. K, she is a practitioner. So I know she had a long day. I just appreciate her for taking her time to come on the platform this late at night and just share and love on us and pour all those heavy drinks into our cups tonight. We're full. I don't even know if we're gonna be able to go to sleep, because I'm sure gonna look for the stuff that we talked about and try to be like, let me see. Because I have my little research moments when I be trying to figure out stuff. So thank you. I love knowledge. Knowledge is what, ladies and gentlemen? Power. And when we can do it, we're not doing it like this. We're doing it with a fist and moving forward. So again, thank you for tuning in. Make sure, if you're interested in being on my show, Sip with Kathleen, you can go to my email and send me an email telling me, hey, I'm interested, or I know somebody that would be a good fit. I feature entrepreneurs, nonprofits, and creative people, and it's called Through Cat's Eyes Media. It's running above on the bottom on your screen, so I don't have to spell it for you. You can reach out to me. I definitely respond because I want to make sure that we have what we need to be good. There's no reason for us to have a whole lot of craziness in the world and we don't have the things to help us be better. And that's all I got for y'all tonight. Is there anything else you would like to share, Dr. K?
Well, I just want to encourage people to step into that highest version of themselves, to practice the tools and strategies that can help them to level up in life, because we're all going to operate from programs anyway.
Yes.
So wouldn't it be better just to make those programs your own?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, y'all be blessed and like and share this video, and y'all have an amazing weekend. Oh, and don't forget, next week is going to be couples week. I'm featuring husband and wife power couples. People always sleep on what they got going on. It take a lot, and you know this, Dr. K, it take a lot to be with a husband and wife, and y'all in business. Y'all husband and wife, and y'all in business. Oh my gosh. So I have some amazing guests on next week. The show starts on Monday and it will go until Wednesday. And I also have one show that I had to reschedule. Miss Karen, she's the Perfect Storm. She's going to be part of that segment as well. I just want to make sure I bring y'all what's necessary. So y'all stay blessed and y'all have an amazing weekend. Good night.
Peace.
What did I say? Namaste. I said namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah. If you're gonna be saying something, can you learn it right, Miss Kathleen? Can you get it right? Stop trying to say stuff you don't. Only on this show.
All
Only
right.
on this show. All right. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.